He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. Thomas Carlyle. Okay, well, my name is Ron, and I'm a teacher who has watched not just my students grow up in a system, that was feeding them the wrong way, but I also learned from my family and my friends who, unfortunately had suffered through basic, not by us not understanding our environment around us, how maybe, I'm not saying always, maybe we can prevent stuff or we can overcome stuff or we can avoid stuff, by making better food choices and by exercising, So one of the reasons I created my channel was personal, I lost family members to disease that might have been prevented if we had known more about how food affects the body. I'm not here to blame the medicine, Western medicine can save lives. I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it did. I don't want to tell you it will either, but I'm saying it can, but we become reactive instead of proactive. We wait for sickness instead of teaching wellness. What is that about? So let's talk about the kids, okay? Why are so many kids struggling with energy, focus, and health today? Research from the CDC and experts like Dr. Berg and Barbara O'Neill point to one major factor: nutrition. The CDC reports that children don't eat enough fruits and vegetables and whole foods. Processed snacks, sugary drinks, and refined carbs dominate their diets. That leads to poor immunity, mood swings, and long-term risks like obesity and diabetes. Barbara O'Neill, her natural approach focuses on building the immune system through food, hydration, sleep, and movement. Dr. Berg also emphasizes real food and nutrient-dense meals with minimal sugar and processed ingredients to stabilize hormones and energy, right? So, public health data agrees that kids who eat more, natural foods perform better physically and mentally. As a teacher, I see it every day. Some kids eat fast food daily. Others come to school tired, moody, or constantly sick, But I've seen change also, when kids eat whole foods, they're sharper, calmer, and more confident. I also have had students come into school, and maybe have a lot of sugar, right? Sugar rush, right? And I'm used to seeing this kid every day. Next thing you know, they're bouncing off the walls, right? So it just shows you how little things can affect us, right? Just having that little bit too much sugar, boom, next thing you know, they're climbing on the ceilings, you know what I mean? So, but, parents, you don't need to overhaul everything overnight though, okay? And I want you guys to get scared about it, okay? Just like with your own health, right? You start small, you swap out one sugary snack for fruit, okay? Simple, right? Replace soda, with water or herbal tea, cook at home, one extra night of the week. That's all. If it comes in a box with 30 ingredients, skip it. Every small change builds momentum. We can't control everything, you guys, but, we can control what goes on our table, right? If we give kids real food, movement, and love, we can raise a generation that's stronger and healthier than ours. The best medicine starts with prevention, and prevention starts in the kitchen. So, on this channel, I have videos about increasing human longevity, about motivation. I have videos on better food choices and exercise. I have free food plans and exercises from the basic entry level all the way to the advanced that you can download and you can start now. Get yourself in the greatest shape and feel great. If you like this video, give me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see the motivational videos every day, and if you want to see more videos like this every week.